Hey, you guys, welcome to day two. First of all, amazing energy on day one. Okay, I loved it. Now, please know this. If you feel like you messed up yesterday or you haven't really started the way you wanted to or you didn't get it done right yesterday, there's nothing wrong. Okay, you're still okay. Remember what I said, like no one has to do this perfectly to complete this 5-day free group. Okay. So just stay with me. Just whatever you do, just keep going. Don't give up. Start today if you need to. Okay. Please know that. Remember, B- work always gets results. Always. Now, today the topic is what changes about getting results as we get older. And I spent a lot of time making really great notes so I stay on track. So you're going to see me look down. Okay. This is going to be so good. All right. Just a reminder, there's only this one video today. And so dropping below this video is I'll give you a call to action at the end of this. So listen to the end. But then also today, drop in the comments, like anything you're thinking, any questions that you're having. Also drop in the comments below your accountability for your work today, right? For the expectations of the challenge. And so again, it can be the photo or you can just type it in at the end of the day, doesn't matter. All right. Okay. So what changes about getting results as we get older? Whew. All right. Okay. This is fun. I used to have this mindset about getting older that I was fighting against it. And I was trying to prevent the effects of aging, right? And so I was always in like a reactive, desperate mode. And I just want to say that that's kind of like a bad place and energy to be in. And so immediately today, I want to just kind of invite you to start to work with your body instead of against it. And if you have that mindset, it immediately relieves a lot of pressure that you're probably putting on yourselves and also probably releases some of the negativity that you may even have about your body right now or the changes that have been happening to you. And so I just want to let you know that you're beautiful and wonderful and you are the age that you are supposed to be and your body is done some probably pretty incredible things in your life so far, and to just kind of love it where it is right now, and just see you as a constant work in progress. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I've said that many times to myself. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And it's just such a negative space to be in. Instead, I want you to hold space for just loving your body with where you are today and finding joy and happiness in everything that your body has done for you. And that all we're doing here is learning more today so we can work with our bodies. Okay. Instead of fighting aging, we're just working with it. And don't worry, we can still be like hot moms and grandmas and this and that, like the rest of our lives, and feel amazing. Okay. Even as we get older. So this is going to be so good. So here are some facts about things that are happening as you're getting older. So we've all heard the menopause word. So actual menopause happens when you have not had your cycle, your period, for an entire year. Okay. So you will go through an entire year, and that whole year, there will be no period. After that year, that's menopause. You've officially entered menopause. Okay. But all this perimenopause, or like before menopause symptoms, start having 10 years before that even happens. So for a lot of people, a lot of women, it's happening starting even at age 35. So 35 plus, you could start to have these symptoms of menopause, and it can be vicious and hard and super confusing. What's really happening in our bodies is that we are increasing our levels of estrogen. So our level of estrogen is going up, our level of progesterone is going down. So the sex hormones are off because our body is not releasing an egg every single month that we have a cycle. And so when we don't release an egg, then our progesterone levels are like so low, but our body dropped an egg, so our estrogen is sky high. And so that's when we're like, what's going on? I feel crazy this month. What's going on? Your progesterone is just so low. Or you have these crazy headaches or really heavy periods or irregular periods. It is an imbalance in hormone, and the symptoms can be more severe for other people, but that's literally what's happening. Also, our cortisol levels are up just because of a lot of increased stress and anxiety in our lives, right? So our cortisol levels are up, our estrogen levels are up, our progesterone levels are down. And then what that does is it creates a lot of insulin sensitivity. And so we've got insulin sensitivity up. So we're like, oh, what's going on, right? So that's like technically what's happening. And so what are the symptoms of that? You may have honestly increased anxiety and depression, a lot more inflammation, or what we call like bloat. We're like, why am I so bloated and puffy? A lot more inflammation. You could have more headaches or more severe headaches. Like I said, irregular, heavier periods, way worse mood swings right before your period. You will notice a decrease in your muscle mass. I was like, why are my arms getting wiggly again? Right? Decreased muscle mass, my stomach, right? You might have an increase in your belly gain, or your area in your belly is just not as firm and tight as it used to be. So there's just some of the things that are happening. So I don't know if that's happening to you, but those were some of the things that were starting to happen to me a year ago. And I was just really getting down in the dumps about it. And so just how should you really think about this? Really, you should just be like, okay, this is normal. Okay, it's normal. Now, there are things we can do about it. A lot of times people talk about going to the doctor or hormone replacement therapy. Those are all things that are totally out of my zone of genius. All right. I've been tackling all this holistically. Now, I think there's times when you need to go to the doctor, and I think when you need to go to the doctor. Okay. But here, I'm going to just keep it really simple and surface level. So I learned so much about this when I just decided to get really curious. And that's kind of a mindset. Like, so instead of saying what's wrong with me, maybe we could say, like, I want to learn, I want to understand my body more, because truly all of this stuff out there is mostly created for men and by men. And there's not a lot of info out there about women. Thankfully, there's more now. So I read this book, Next Level by Stacy Sims, and it was a watered down, I won't say watered down, but easier to understand all the technical stuff, the medical jargon and whatnot, for me to understand this. And since I have been slowly and gently applying the things that I'm learning and just testing things on myself, I have had some really awesome results and feel really good, but I mostly just feel so much more in control. And so, what should you do with this info that I give you today is just like continue to get curious, become a learner yourself, give yourself lots of grace and compassion, and just start testing out some of these holistic solutions. Because I truly don't know for sure if you need to go see a functional medical doctor, get lots of blood tests done. I think there's some really simple things that are going to help you feel really great now. Okay. And so here's kind of our old way of thinking, what we can stop doing, okay? Because what we did do in our 20s, maybe even our 30s, is not going to work for us in our late 30s, 40s, and beyond. It's really not. One of those things is fasting. Fasting is very, very bad and this is my opinion, and I've read so much about this, and I totally get it. The fasting's not good at all for our cortisol levels, for our hormone levels. And so if we're waiting until noon to eat for the first time, you're just bottoming out a lot of good things happening for your body. So fasting is no longer good for us as we're getting older. Over exercising is not good for us. Taking rest days is imperative. Doing a lot of cardio and thinking that's where our results are, not true at all. We still need to do cardio, but we don't need to do a lot of cardio to lose weight. That's old. Okay. For us. Thank goodness. Let's see, just dieting in general, restricting calories, like over restricting calories, leading us to where we're under eating. Not good. No bueno. We got to drop that. All we're doing is making things worse. Okay. When we do that kind of thing. So tangibly, what can we do when it comes to our fitness and for fitness and nutrition? Okay. So fitness, strength training is key for us. We're decreasing our muscle mass. Our muscle mass is decreasing because the type of estrogen that we're creating, we no longer have the type of estrogen that builds muscles. And so we have to really work hard as we get older to actually grow our muscles and to burn fat. And so the number one thing that we can do for our bones, for our muscle health, for our heart health, actually, is strength train. And so strength train 3 days a week and limit your cardio to 2 days a week. And when we do cardio, the best kind of cardio for us is doing high intensity interval training. So HIIT workouts, like short little 20-minute workouts with HIITs, but also doing what's called steady state training, which is like where you would go out for a long run, a long, easy endurance run where you don't get like super out of breath and all that stuff. Like it's kind of like where, you know, when I was training for a half marathon on Saturdays, I would do a long run. And the goal is to really do it without getting out of breath. So just like steady state training where you stay in like a zone 2 kind of training, if that makes sense. And then actually doing active recovery. And so active recovery is mobility, stability workouts, Pilates, yoga, things like that we do on My Body platform. You know, things like that are so good for our bodies. And then the bonus is walking in nature. Walking in nature is so good for our stress, but it's also really good for our bones. And it's also really, really good for our lowering our anxiety. It's so good for our mental health. Lowering that stress is going to be so good for hormone balance. You never even thought about it. But if it's like you just kind of feel like you sit all day, you don't get outside, that's something you could really think about adding to your routine. What can we do with nutrition to get results as we get older? Eat enough all day long, kind of like steady state training, like steady nutrition. And so literally having a balanced amount of meals and snacks, eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, 1 or 2 snacks a day, and kind of timing those every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day. Also eating protein, huge. Again, our body's not producing the type of estrogen that's enabling us to build muscle when we're in our 20s any longer. Oh my gosh, right? So we got to strength train, but our strength training needs to be combined with eating protein. And you're not going to like bulk up like we're not doing competitive muscle building here or anything like that. We just want to burn fat and we want to see muscle tone and definition. So if we want to see muscle tone and definition, we're going to have to lift weight, but we're also going to have to fuel it with protein to help build the muscle. So eating a lot of protein is important. I have an entire video in day about eating protein. Let's see, having a variety of vegetables is really good for our internal gut health, and our hormones live in our internal gut health. So that's very important to have, not just eat the same vegetables all the time, but to try to give yourself a variety during the day. So we're eating 5 veggies in here and making sure that they're not all baby carrots with hummus, right? Just like trying to give yourself a variety during the day, but also during the week. And then lastly, probiotics are so good for us. Supplementation is good too. And that's something that you can learn about in the book. But I do a lot of supplementation as well. And so, I drink a superfood shake. I'm having post workout things like that. That's helping me get in extra magnesium and, extra ingredients that are helping my body as well. So, wow, that was a lot, right? Okay. But that's just kind of like the Cliff Notes version of what's changing about getting results as we get older. What I want you to do with this information is just to kind of feel more equipped to, I guess, understand and accept that, yes, there's things happening, but yes, there's also things you can do with it. And I know that these just like natural, holistic ways totally work because they're working for me. And, I'm excited to share more with you over the next couple of days. So, I'm going to really dig into protein a little bit more. I'm also going to dig into what else was I going to talk about? Just kind of the belly bloat and how to decrease that a little bit more, and but how to take this and be consistent with it too. So oh my gosh, I hope that was good. I hope it wasn't too much. I hope you got something from it. So what I would really love to know today is, first of all, thank you for watching to the end of this video. But what did you hear me share that you needed to hear? Okay, that's it. Like, what was it you were like, okay, I needed to know that. All right. Also, I'm really curious, was there something that I shared that you can tangibly take with you and you're like, okay, I can do that. I can do that. I would love to know that from you today too.